Terra. Herald of Hope mills 2 cards at the beginning of combat. Then she connects and one of those 2 cards walks straight back onto the battlefield. Same turn, same combat. That is not a coincidence, that is the entire card. She costs $1.33 and she is the rare Reanimator commander who wants your creatures to be small. Coming up, why power 3 or less is a feature and not a tax, the 4 card loop that just ends the game, and the sub $3 core that does most of the work. Read it, because both halves matter. Trance. At the beginning of combat on your turn, mill 2 cards. Terra gains flying until end of turn. That flying is how a 3/3 connects in a 4-player game. Then, whenever Terra deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 2 and return target creature card with power 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Now notice the order. The mill happens in the beginning of combat step. The reanimation happens in the damage step. So a card you flip off the top this turn is already a legal target this turn. $1.33 and a full year of quietly getting more popular. Let's look at the chart. Numbers here come from EDHREC. Terra arrived with Final Fantasy Commander in June of 2025 and went straight to number 24 in the world, 1,253 new decks in 1 month. Then the usual thing happened. By January she had slid to 68, by March 71. Except she did not stay down there. May of 2026 was her biggest month on this chart, 1,635 new decks, more than the month she debuted. 1,936 of those decks are tagged Reanimator, which is less a choice and more a job description. Graveyard and self-mill follow, and those are the same deck wearing a different hat. Aggro is the outlier, the build that treats Terra as a flying 3/3 that happens to rebuy a creature every combat. Here is where builders place her themselves. 52% of sampled lists call themselves bracket 3, upgraded, and another 36% sit at bracket 2. Casual tables, real teeth. And the average list runs 0 game changers. The most played one, Smothering Tithe, turns up in about 1 Terra deck in 10. So how do you actually feed her? It starts with cards that put your own deck in the bin. Stitcher Supplier is a 1-mana 1/1 that mills 3 when it enters and mills 3 again when it dies. 31 cents, and it is in 74% of Terra lists because it fills the yard and then becomes a reanimation target itself. Buried Alive is the other approach. 3 mana, search your library for up to 3 creature cards. Put them straight into the graveyard. You are not hoping to draw the right answer. You're picking the 3 creatures Terra hands back over the next 3 combats. Now the trick that turns power 3 or less from a tax into a feature. Terra cannot reanimate your fatties, so you stop trying. You reanimate the creatures that reanimate fatties. Karmic Guide is a 2/2 for 39 cents in 58% of lists, and when it enters it returns any creature card from your graveyard, no restriction at all. One warning, it has Echo, so on your next upkeep you either pay 5 mana again or sacrifice it, which is fine because it goes right back in the yard for Terra to fetch. Priest of Felrites is the same idea for 31 cents. 2 mana, 2/2, tap it, pay 3 life, sacrifice it, return any creature from your graveyard. Then it unearths itself out of the yard later to do the whole thing again. Terra's restriction is a doorway, not a wall. 2 cards turn that loop into damage. Silas Rune Knight is in 80% of Terra lists, and it carries the highest synergy score in the deck. Whenever another creature you control enters from a graveyard, every creature you control gets a +1/+1 counter. And Gau Feral Youth deals damage equal to its power to each opponent at every end step where a card left your graveyard. Terra does that every single combat. That's the engine. Now let me show you what the average list actually looks like from the inside. 35 lands, 65 spells, average mana value 3.38. The bulge is at 19 cards, and that matters because turn 2 is when you want a Millican online before Terra lands on 3. But look at the right hand side, 6 cards at 7 mana or more. In most decks that top end is a liability. Here 3 of those 6 have power 3 or less, which means Terra just puts them onto the battlefield for 2 mana. 36 creatures, 35 lands, 9 artifacts, 9 sorceries, 7 instants, 3 enchantments. 36 creatures is a lot, and it should be. because every creature here is doing double duty. It is a body now and a reanimation target later. 6 of those 9 artifacts are mana rocks, which makes sense once you accept that a 3 mana commander who wants 2 spare mana in combat is quietly a 5 mana commander. Here's what all of that does to your opening hand. 16 cards in a 99 put cards into your own graveyard, so 72% of opening hands have at least one. 13 more cards get a creature back out, and that shows up in 64% of hands. Land is the shakier number. 35 lands means slightly under half your hands keep 3 or more, which is exactly why I would run 36. Numbers are nice. Here is what an actual game with her looks like. Turn 2, a Milliken or a Stitcher supplier, and cards start hitting the bin. Turn 3, Terra, and you do nothing else. Turn 4 is the real turn. Beginning of combat, mill 2, she gains flying, she swings over the whole table, and 2 mana later Karmic Guide is on the battlefield pulling your best creature back with it. Turn 5, Sally's lands and the counter stack up. By turn 6, Gao is draining every opponent for free. One card in that curve deserves a special mention. Anger is a 4 mana 2/2 that you never actually want to cast. You want to discard it. As long as Anger is sitting in your graveyard and you control a mountain, every creature you control has haste. That is the difference between reanimating a threat and attacking with it the same turn. 68% of Terra decks run it, and it usually never touches the battlefield. So that is the plan. Now the part where I tell you what it costs. The average Terra list on EDHREC comes to about $158, and one deck in 10 is built under the budget line. But here is the number that made me want to cover her. 4 of the 5 highest synergy cards in this entire deck cost $2.75 combined. The 5th one is Reanimate, and we will get to that. Meteor Golem is 27 cents, and it is the best argument for that power restriction. 7 mana, artifact creature, 3/3 body, destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. You are never hard casting this, you mill it, and Terra buys you a removal spell for 2 mana every time she connects. General Leo Christoph is 22 cents, returns a creature with mana value 3 or less, and is itself a body Terra can bring back. Siegfried, Famed Swordsman, is 24 cents. 4 mana, mills 3 when it enters, then gets 2 counters for every creature card in your graveyard. In this deck, that is routinely a 6/6 with menace or bigger. And stitched together is under $2. 2 black mana returns a creature to your hand, but with 7 cards in the graveyard, it goes straight to the battlefield instead. In a Terra deck, Threshold is not a condition, it is Tuesday. That version wins games. This next version ends them on the spot. Aurelia, the war leader, is $4.50, and she's in 47% of lists for one reason. When she attacks for the first time each turn, untap every creature you control and take an extra combat phase. An extra combat with Terra is an extra mill 2 and an extra reanimation. She's also a 3/4, so Terra can bring her back herself. Ashnod's Altar turns any creature into the exact 2 mana Terra's trigger asks for. Put those 2 together with Karmic Guide and the game is over. Terra and Aurelia attack. Aurelia untaps the team and locks in an extra combat. Sacrifice Aurelia to the altar for 2, Terra connects. Spend that 2, reanimate Karmic Guide, and Karmic Guide's trigger returns Aurelia untapped. She is a brand new object, so her once per turn attack trigger has reset. Extra combat, sacrifice, repeat. Infinite combats, infinite mill, infinite damage. That line is registered in about 2200 decks across EDHREC. 2 more upgrades that earn their price. Reanimate is 1 black mana, return any creature card from any graveyard, lose life equal to its mana value. $9, and it is the one card here that ignores the power restriction completely. Entomb is $16 and change. 1 black mana, instant speed, put any card from your library into your graveyard in every other deck that is a tutor with a drawback. Here, the graveyard is the destination. That is the engine, the math, and the money. Here's all 99 of them. This is the average list, pulled from more than 17,000 decks. Scan it and notice how little generic good stuff there is. Almost every slot either fills the graveyard, empties it, or gets paid when a creature crosses between the 2. If you are cutting for budget, cut the 7 mana sorceries before you cut a 2-power creature because that creature is a card Terra can cast for you every turn. Mill 2 at the start of combat, hit for 3, pay 2 and put one of those cards back on the battlefield. Every turn for $33. Terra is not the strongest reanimator in the format, but she might be the cheapest one that genuinely closes games, and the restriction that looks like a downside is why her engine costs pocket change. If you sleeve her up, tell me which small creature you are abusing. I'm EDHREC, subscribe for the next deck tech.